Hello and welcome to episode 29 of the Create If Writing podcast.
I can't go back to sleep, it's almost light.
I'm your host, Kirsten Oliphant, and you can call me Kiki or Kirsten, you choose. I am your host for the show, and I am the person behind the Create If Writing website as well, where I post show notes for this podcast, as well as some authentic platform building / writing / any kind of tools that might help you with your social media and your connections with other people and your writing itself. So this past week, I posted something a little unusual for me up there, but I was reading an article on the fact that Kylie Jenner has an app. And I didn't know this because I don't actually have room on my phone to download apps, even if I were interested in Kylie Jenner's app. But I read the article and I thought to myself, this is genius, her app. And so I wrote a post all about what we can learn as sort of people building platforms and businesses and blogs and trying to find readers for a book, what we can learn from Kylie Jenner's app. Nothing I would have expected. And I have to space this out a little bit, but I have a post coming up also about Justin Bieber's relaunch with his newest album. So I have to put some space between them so I don't become a blog about how young people that are famous are doing stuff that you could also do, because that's not what I'm about. But I also like to learn from different places. So keep your eyes open for a post about Justin Bieber. Who knew? That's not what I thought I would be writing about. So this week, you're going to have a really short episode because I have a whole lot of things going on this week and a whole lot of interviews coming up. I want to keep my episodes kind of in this staggered in this way where I have a Just Me episode and then an interview and then a Just Me and then an interview. And the reason for this is because sometimes I just really like the weeks where I talk to you guys and share things. And I love my interviews, but they take a lot longer to edit. So I have a whole lot of episodes actually already recorded as interviews that I have to kind of do the intros and outros for and do the editing because I do all that stuff myself. And next week, you're going to hear again of part 2 from Gabriela Pereira from DIY MFA. And we're going to talk about process together. So I broke up the interview I did with her into 2 because it was long. So, and this week, I am actually on the DIY MFA podcast. And so you can head over to iTunes and find that. Just search for DIY MFA. And we had a really great conversation all about email. And you guys may be sick of hearing me talk about email. But if you aren't, or if you're new to the show, I love to talk email. So you guys can check that out. I'm also, in the first week of February, going to be a part of something called the Amplify Summit. And it's basically going to be one of those summits that you can watch from home, like through videos. And I was interviewed by Jonathan Milligan from bloggingyourpassion.com. And that was just a whole lot of fun. So I can't wait to see that. It's got some really great people in there. I don't actually know how I found my way into being a part of that, but it was really, really fun. So I will make sure I get you information about that because it's not happening yet, but it will be happening. And again, that is the Amplify Summit, I believe is what that's called. So I'll make sure I get you guys all the info you need about that. But it's pretty cool. February 1st through 5th, it's got writers, speakers, and coaches talking to people about how to amplify their income and their impact. So I love that. And I'm really excited I got to be a part of it. So for now, though, you can head over to DIY MFA and listen to that interview with Gabriela. More of a conversation. She and I feel like we really hit it off. And so that was a lot of fun. And that was one of the first podcasts I listened to. So it was a delight to be on it. That just, it's just really cool. So speaking of that, I have a lot of really great guests coming up this year that I am beyond excited about. In fact, today, it's January, and I never know the date. It's the 20th. So today I actually interviewed John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneur on Fire. And that was really, really fun. It was kind of high pressure for me because he is so busy. He has like 25-minute blocks. And usually my interviews go on much longer and I do a little chatting beforehand to kind of get get to know people a little bit and get that dynamic going so that the interview's not, real stiff or anything. But we jumped right in, and he's so used to doing this that it was very, very fun. I also forgot to hit record. So this happened.
To be on EO Fire. There's
Hey, John.
Yes.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? I have to start over because I didn't press record. And that was a big learning experience, but he is very gracious and also, was recording on his side anyway. So lesson learned, I will always kind of record on my side. I think that's a great idea. But I can't wait for that interview to come out. I also have one coming up with Amy Schmidauer from Savvy Sexy Social, and we're talking about different platforms. She is big on YouTube and has a really great 5-day-a-week show called Savvy Sexy Social on YouTube. That's all about social media and impact, and she's had a great series on how to start with different things like Snapchat, Instagram, Blab, Periscope, YouTube. So definitely check her out. And she's coming on the show. We've already done that interview. I have an interview next week with Madeline Sklar, who is a Houston influencer that I've connected with. And I just love her. She's fantastic. And she talks about Twitter. She runs the Twitter Smarter tweet chat or Twitter chat, I guess, on Thursdays, which is around, I think, noon. I'm trying to remember. I get a reminder about it, and I've hit it a few times. And she also has a really cool blab about Twitter that comes on Tuesday nights. And I get that every now and then. I'm like kind of herding cats and making dinner and then like listening and trying to throw in comments. So that's a lot of fun as well. So, and then, oh my goodness, this week I also confirmed an interview with Joanna Penn, and I'm really excited. So she is an indie writer, very cutting edge in terms of just the whole independent publishing movement. She loves virtual reality and is kind of looking ahead in terms of technology and how it interfaces with books, and has great interviews on her podcast. And she's British. She's the one that I'm always talking about when I pronounce Patreon, because I always hear her voice in my head saying that. So I have an interview with her coming up, and I could not be more excited. So this year's got a lot of great things coming on the podcast, and I'm just very excited. So to segue into talking about Patreon, I want to let you guys know that I do have a Patreon page that you guys can check out. There are some really great bonuses if you donate to help keep the show alive. The show's going to stay alive, but I've definitely thought about cutting back because it takes a long time, and this is not bringing in an income for me. This is just something I do because I love it. So I will continue, but trying to find ways to monetize without, I'm not really interested in chasing sponsors right now. That may be something I have in the future, but for now I'm not. So anyway, you can check that out at patreon.com/Kiki Mojo. And it's Patreon for all of us who are, over here in the States. Patreon.com/Kiki Mojo. And if you do support the show, it's like you can go as low as $1 per show, which is $4 a month. And there's some cool bonuses like getting shout outs on the show, private Facebook group, and some other exciting things, discounts on courses the higher you go. In fact, some of the levels you actually can get courses like the things that I create for free. So that's a pretty exciting thing because I am creating stuff, you guys. Creative writing. I'm creating stuff. And this week marks the official launch of the joint course that I created with Angela England of angeengland.com. And it's called Creative Profitability. So if you are someone who is interested in writing ebooks, creating online courses, using webinars, or just getting paid for your writing in general, this course is for you. And what we've done is we've created 5 modules, ebooks, courses, webinars, paid writing outside your site, like magazine writing, how to do pitches and get paid for your writing, and also how to get paid for your writing while promoting your other projects, which is totally some cool hack that Angela has. And then also how to use your email list in terms of these sales. Now, this goes really well together with my Own Your List course, which is the A to Z email, but it's got a narrower focus on how to use your email list to kind of sell these things and kind of promote your webinars, your courses, and your ebooks. And I have to say, it was a blast creating this course, but I've been really annoyed this week because I've gotten a whole ton of emails in my inbox. Everybody's launching a course about courses, which is fine. I mean, really, I've only done a couple courses, so to launch a course on it is a little bit crazy, which is why the whole thing is not all about courses. I know most of the people who are launching these know way more than me, and they all talk about their 6-figure launches, or I don't think anyone talks about 7, but 5 and 6-figure launches. I have solid 4-figure launches. There we go. But they talk about this and okay, so here's my annoyance. They talk about this as though it's as easy as taking their course and following the formula. And then you get your 6-figure launch. And so I've been getting I think I'm on all these email lists because you guys know I like to be nerdy and I like to get free training and I like to see what people are sending. So I think I've gotten 3 emails this week from different people, or 3, sets, not just 3 emails individually, a bunch of emails from 3 different people who are launching courses about courses. And then also a bunch about how to get a bestseller in X amount of days, or, whatever hack, how to get a bestseller. I've gotten at least 3 or 4 of those as well from different people. And so then I get an email from a friend and she says, hey, so I wanted to see if you would mind talking to my friend so this is a friend of a friend we're talking about. So apparently she either bought or just kind of followed one of these 5-figure webinar launch checklist type things, and she did it to the letter, and she had the worst launch she's ever had. And this is somebody who has had successful launches before, very successful. And so my friend was like, hey, I may send her your way so you can help her, which I was like, awesome. I'm excited you thought of me to help her. But, I think here's the thing is that sometimes these courses, yes, the people creating them have experience. I really don't want to knock anyone. I have not taken these courses, so I can't say. But I do think sometimes people sell a formula. And I do know this because I've been to webinars where that's the case. They sell a formula and they overpromise and underdeliver because a formula does not work for everyone. And even if formulas do work for almost everyone, there's the whole thing of the market getting flooded. If a formula works for you, by next year, it's not going to work anymore. And I've seen this with blogging. I've seen this, in the years I've been doing social media and all these different things. Something starts to work and right at that point, it changes. And it doesn't work anymore because everybody's sick of seeing it. I think this is one of the reasons, banner ads for bloggers used to pay the bills and they don't anymore. And that's because, a lot of reasons, but everybody's doing it. They really can't make, that kind of money anymore when every single blog has the same banner ad. Everything's too crowded and flooded. So our course is not about a formula. Our course is about equipping you with the tools you need to write an ebook that's profitable, to create an e-course that is profitable, how literally and technically, and I give tons of tech training, how to run a webinar that hopefully will not crash. I can't promise that because we have tech issues every single time and other people do too. This is just the reality of webinars. But that's what our course is doing. It's equipping you with the tools, and then you will take those and apply them to your niche. You will apply them with your voice to your unique audience. And our goal, Angela and I have talked about this, we firmly believe you will earn your money back. We firmly believe that and more. So the course, the normal price is $397. Right now, we're offering an early bird price of $197. And we're also throwing in, until January 24th, we are throwing in an extra course. You get to choose either Own Your List, my A to Z email course, or her course, Achieve Your Publishing Dreams, which is a ridiculously extensive publishing course. And yes, we get into email and ebooks, those are the modules, part of the modules in Creative Profitability. But my email course on its own is much more of a bigger picture email, and the same with her publishing course. So you can take just Creative Profitability and get the tools that you need, but you're going to get more, it's less laser focused if you're looking at my course, Own Your List. That's everything email, not just how to sell, but how to run all kinds of things, set things up. And her Achieve Your Publishing Dreams course also covers way more, but you can totally write and publish a book with what we're going to give you in Creative Profitability. So you really can't beat that. $197 for 2 different courses. Again, that's through January 24th. So if you're listening to this later, I'm sorry, but we are offering some other deals. So you can see that at creativeprofitability.com. So that's, what I want to say about that is I'm really excited about our course. We're not promising a formula, but I feel like that's better. I feel like we're going to equip you, and I can't, again, say that those courses are definitely just promising a formula, even though I've seen some of the webinar trainings, and they definitely are in the trainings. I can't say you won't have a 5-figure launch with those. I can't say you will have a 5-figure launch with mine. But I also feel like what we're helping people do is create something that is more sustainable, that we're helping you apply this knowledge. And all these things are really interconnected. Like webinars are a great way to promote your ebook, to promote your e-course. But most of the time, you're not going to get that training all in one course. You're not going to get it all in one place. And I've actually talked to some people that bought courses on similar, that are about how to make profits with certain things. And they talk about why you should use webinars or why you should create an e-course, but they do not give you the technical training, which is something we do with a number of videos that show you how to set up the different moving parts and get you started. Okay, so if you can't tell, I'm excited about that course. Okay, today, in the meat of this, because so far this is just the longest intro ever because I had a lot to say, but what I really want to ask a simple question. And I want to ask, if you have something that you love to do in your life. And I ask this because today, as I finished up the interview with John Lee Dumas, I had the biggest smile on my face because I love what I do. I love the interviews. I love getting to connect with people. I love hopping on Twitter and finding that people have engaged with me. I love doing free workshops and webinars and talking to people, even if only one or two of them buy my product. And also, I don't always sell things when I do workshops. I love doing workshops just for fun. But I love hearing from people that they learned something, that they have things they wrote down that they're going to go and do. I love these connections. I love what I do. In fact, sometimes I have a hard time turning it off. And that's when I have to really find the contentment that I'm one of those workaholic type people. When I love my work, I bury myself in it. And so I guess 4 kids holds me back from that in a good way because I can't do work all the time. And if my mindset is focused around just work, then I'm pretty miserable other places. And so it's really good for me to put the computer down and not pick up my phone. And so if you're ever tweeting at me or trying to get a hold of me and there's hours and you're like, where is she? That's where I'm with my kids and I'm trying not to look at my phone. And I love that part of my life as well. That part is way more challenging for me. I feel like, I've talked about this before. I'm not sure if I've talked about this on this podcast or not, but in some ways I feel like I was kind of missing that mom gene. I didn't want to be a mom for years. And something shifted, and it was before I met Rob. So those of you who know my husband, he's one of 7 kids. So it did not shift because of him. I would not have dated him if I did not want kids still at that point, because I was very aware that he wanted, I think, 10 kids at that point. We are not having 10 kids, for the record. But that did shift, and I knew, and this is why I didn't want kids for so long. I am very aware of how selfish I am, how driven I am, how much I am an introvert and love being by myself. I love so many things that are just solo things. I love painting, writing music, playing music, just all these different things, being creative. I love all these things, and they're kind of solo things, or things where I can do them solo and then kind of connect with people in a superficial way. Not to say it's not genuine, but a more superficial way on Twitter. Superficial because they're not in my living room. That's stuff I love. And being with people, I love people. I love connecting, as I've said, but it exhausts me. And so I knew having kids was going to be the hardest thing I ever did, and it is. But I also did not understand how much I would love it. So it's a constant struggle and also a continual joy to do that. So I feel like I have several things I really love in my life. And also, this is going to sound kind of cheesy, and I don't mean it to, but I really love my husband. He and I are friends. And I think we will enjoy each other till the day we die. We laugh together still. We've been married, and I don't do math well. We're in 2016. So we've been married 13 years. Coming up in March, and we laugh together every day. We have a great time together. We genuinely enjoy each other. And I don't think that's because we're super special. I'm not saying this because we are doing something, there's no formula for this. It's just, we just enjoy each other. So I have a lot of things that I love in my life. And so even though I also have struggles and have hardships and, have battled off and on with depression for a number of years in different ways. Mostly it's seasonal, so Texas really helped. Thanks, Texas, for being so bright, or Houston anyway. The light has really helped with that. But still, that's there. But for me, I love so many things. And this makes my life a joy. It makes it a challenge to pick between things and to use up all my time because I really enjoy the things I do. So I wanted to pose this question because I really hope that you do have something that you love, whether that's something you get paid to do, whether it's a hobby, whether it's your family, whether it's your job. And if you don't have something you love, I want to challenge you this week to really stop and look at your life and really stop and see if there is a way that you can embrace something and pursue something that you do love. Because there's nothing like that life that has the fire behind it of someone who's passionately living. So that's my challenge to you this week in my very brief, very long-winded intro podcast episode. I really want to challenge you to think about this. Do you love what you do? Do you love something that you do? Do you have something, even if it's only one thing in your life that you wake up in the morning and you are excited about? And I want to continue this conversation over in the Facebook group. So you can head over to Facebook and search for Create If Writing over there. I'd love to have you in the group where we discuss things, we talk, and it's a really fun, safe place to be inspired and share things. So do you love something that you do in your life? I leave you with that question, and I hope that you have an inspired week.